Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on my YouTube channel, make sure that you like it. Make sure you subscribe. I'm actually at like some weird number that has 3 6s in a row. So please just subscribe if you have not subscribed so I can get it off the 3 6s. That would be very appreciated. For all my Facebook people out there that are joining me on Facebook, I appreciate it. For all the people joining me on Twitter, you've been 10 toes down since day one. I do appreciate it. Got to start off because my Trench 30 offensive line clinic starts today. It'll be today through Sunday. Really excited about getting out there and working with these young men, giving them an opportunity to really focus in on their skills. You know, sometimes it's not about just banging. It's not about, like sweating your butt off and stuff, although we're going to sweat because we're in the South and it's hot. Sometimes you just have to work on the fundamentals and the techniques that are involved in the position. And so I'm really looking forward to getting into this. But I've already decided that next year is going to be bigger and better. And in Tampa, my Tampa people, look out. I'm coming down there, bringing Trench 100, Trench 200. I want to be able to get this out to the masses, and I'm really excited about it. I also want to make sure that I show some love to my title sponsors for Trench 30. That would be Cycle Bar Midtown Savannah. Shout out to them. If you are in the Savannah area, you should be going to get a ride with them at Cycle Bar Midtown Savannah. Your first 3 rides are free. All you got to do is call them. All you have to do is call them. Call them up, and they will take care of you. I promise you, if you give them 3 rides, you're going to go back for more. 5525 Abercorn Street, Savannah, Georgia. The number is 912-777-5667. Again, Cycle Bar Midtown Savannah. If you have been thinking about, especially you coaches out there, if you're thinking about how to try to stay in shape, what you need to do to stay in shape, if you're in the Savannah area, if you're in the Coastal Empire, get over to Cycle Bar Midtown Savannah because they're going to give you an opportunity to do that. I go to Cycle Bar almost every day. I'll go to practice, and then I'll go after practice. I'll go early in the morning. If I'm not working, I'll go in the middle of the day at noon, 9 o'clock. It just all depends on when those classes are. But I try to go at least 4 to 5 times a week because it gives me the cardio that I need, and I want to stay heart healthy. So I really do appreciate everything that Cycle Bar Midtown Savannah has done in order to show their support for Trench 30. I also want to show some love to our other title sponsor, and that is Say Less Sports Tees. If you don't know about Say Less Sports Tees, well, you're going to know now because they have a great sale going on. It is their team sales, that varsity level package. $100 gets you all of this. A Badger long sleeve performance hoodie, a Badger short sleeve compression tee, a Badger sleeveless performance hoodie, C2 performance shorts, C2 performance tee, C2 long sleeve performance tee, Badger jogger sweatpants, and an athletic travel bag. If you add up all of those prices, it actually comes over $100. But that varsity level package is $100. You will get a 1-color print to go on the front of that. That comes with the deal. Now, if you want more colors, now you got to talk. Obviously, nothing's for free. But shout out to Say Less Sports Tees for holding us down and being one of the title sponsors. Again, thank you to Cycle Bar Midtown Savannah for being one of the title sponsors. I really do appreciate it. I know I just did a whole bunch of commercials at the beginning of this, but had to show love to those people who showed love to us. Coaches. And I'm talking to coaches today. So if you're a coach out there, if you follow me on Facebook especially, if you follow me on Twitter especially, if you're a coach out there, I want you to be able to answer me a question and answer it honestly. Do you believe that players, and this is coaches across any sport, do you believe players really want to work? And I know I say that on the heels of, the day that my clinic's about to start, and I'm going to have young men out there working. But I want to know, do you believe players really want to work? Old man alert. Here comes a back in my time. Back in my time, you didn't really get seen unless somebody was watching the game, right? So unless somebody was at the game, they didn't really see what you did. Highlights were few and far between. I came along when SportsCenter was just coming. We didn't have internet yet. I'm just that old. I'm old enough to where the internet came in on the back end of me playing. And even then, wasn't really set up in a manner where you saw a lot of highlights because there was no social media the way that we have it now. When I was coming through, we had like instant messenger. That was our way of communicating. Even when cell phones came along, the amount per text that they were charging was something where you would have a $500-$600 cell phone bill and not even know it. So in order to be seen, you had to be in the game. But now that's not the same. It's not the same. And so I have to ask the question, do you believe that players want to be seen more than they want to work? I have discovered that people are poor conveniently, right? And I might get killed for this, and I don't really particularly care if people disagree with me because this is just my truth. I grew up poor. I grew up around other poor people. But there were two different types of poor. There was the poor where we didn't have anything and everything was a struggle to get it. And then there were people who were poor, but they seemed to have things. I find nowadays that people are conveniently poor. They're poor when they don't want to pay for things and not poor when they want to. I see people who are supposedly living check to check, taking grand vacations. Now, did they save their money up to go onto that vacation? Absolutely, most likely, right? But that doesn't change the fact that you're living check to check, taking a vacation somewhere. I see guys who will pay for 3 and 4 and 5 exposure clinics, but they don't pay for training. So you'll pay $250, $500 to go to some exposure thing, but you won't pay $50 an hour or $35 an hour or $25, whatever it might be, to go and be trained by somebody. That's someone who wants to be seen more than they want to work. And I am noticing that I see that more and more in sports today. More and more in sports are people doing it for the gram. They're doing it to put on the shirts. They're doing it for all of the reasons that have nothing to do with I want to work to be better. All of those reasons. And unfortunately for us as coaches, because we love what we do, we're put into a really interesting position, right? Because we have to find a way to encourage and to motivate these young men and young women to reach their full potential, while many of these young men and young women only are concerned with being seen. It's a really difficult it's a really difficult thing to do. Like, we have one mission that we're trying to get to them, right? You could say we have two missions because most of us are trying to win. So that's fair if you want to say that, right? We have two missions. We're trying to win, but we also want to give them the opportunity to be the best that they can be at whatever it is they're trying to do with the sport. But their mission is to be seen. Their mission is to be seen. I'm not even sure, if we're being honest, I'm not even sure if their mission is to get the most out of the sport anymore. Right? Like, can we even say that the mission for these young men and young women is to get the most out of the sport when we constantly see them do things that are contrary to getting the most out of the sport? I swear to you, this is a world we are in. We're in a world where college players asked for money. They didn't even ask for it from the schools, and all the schools lost their mind. All of these colleges lost their mind. Players said, hey, you're not giving us any money. Give us the ability to make money on our own. And finally, when the colleges had to cave, the schools went nuts. Here's something that you have to remember, right? If the kids are going to be seen, if they want to be seen, they want to be seen for a reason. Because the name, image, and likeness deal comes with money. Because the name, image, and likeness deal comes with prestige, but it comes with money. So I can't even be upset that they want to be seen, because the new frontier for them to get money is to be seen. But I caution all of my players, I caution my young men, my young women, to not forget where the ultimate bag lies. Don't forget to play the long game. See, the problem with us is that we like checkers too much. We like Connect Four too much. We like the easy, show it to me, boom, 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 game over. Chess is the long game. You got to think it out. You got to think multiple steps ahead. Even when chess players play checkers, they win. Why? Because they're thinking 2 and 3 and 4 steps ahead. They're predicting your move before you make it. If you want to be seen, it's still the best method to be seen is to be on that court. The best method to be seen is to be on that field. Is to be on that pitch. Is to be on that tennis court, on that track, performing. The performance matters first. Everything else is secondary. When you produce video of working out, there's two trains of thought. You want to show you are working on it, so you may not be that good at it. So you might want to capture, hey, I'm going to get better at this. But maybe you don't post that video right now. Maybe you wait until you're really good at it. And then you post a video of you working on it at the beginning versus what you can do now, so that they can see the growth. Because if you post what you're doing now and somebody says, that's not really that impressive, then how did you help yourself? One bit man gets videoed running in the 4x100 or running in 100. He gets scholarships off of it. All of a sudden, we see videos of a bunch of bit men running 100 or running in a 4x100. Guess what, gentlemen? It doesn't work for everybody. You can't just always rinse, wash, repeat what somebody else did. The reason things go viral most times is because they're original. Now, sometimes it just all depends on who does it, right? We've seen it on TikTok. Black girl comes up with a dance. People like it. It gets some numbers. White girl comes behind her, does the same dance. It gets millions and millions of views. Is that the white girl's fault? No. Is that the black girl's fault? No. It's just the way that things are consumed, right? Might come down to the followers. If somebody who does a really fly dance only has 100, 200 followers, and the person who who does the dance over has thousands upon thousands of followers, it's going to make it easier for them to go viral than the hundreds. I had a video go viral. It's still doing massive numbers on Facebook right now, on the Facebook Reels. Who knew? Who knew it would go so crazy? Who knew? I thought it would get good numbers because it was a really cool thing. Who knew it would go crazy? I don't have millions of viewers, of followers. Now, people who have millions of followers, they're going to go viral every time they post something. Why? Because that's millions of feeds that it goes through. But if you're not there, then you got to keep the main thing the main thing. Don't be afraid to work. Fall in love with working. You know why? Because if you fall in love with working, then when you start to be seen, when being seen becomes work, you'll be able to handle it. You know how many people get into the limelight and realize that being in the limelight, that being seen is a lot of work, and then they don't like it? They don't want to be seen as much because the work ethic still matters. If you're not willing to work, if you're not somebody that wants to put in that work, if you're not down for the work, then everything else is going to crumble. I promise you. Work is the foundation. As coaches, it's our responsibility to teach you how to work, because that's what's going to get you the furthest. We're going to teach you how to work, but you've got to be willing to show up. You've got to be willing to do the things necessary in order to work. That show up, be accountable, listen with these. Listen with these. Don't listen with this. Watch what people tell you to do. Listen to what they tell you to do. When you mess up and they correct you, it's not, oh, well, I know. You didn't know. I've seen some of this silly stuff where people are talking about, oh, well, you don't supposed to correct them because they'll make the correction on their own. That goes against every single thing we have learned in education. Because you're going to make a correction on your own eventually. But if I can get you to the correct answer immediately, now you get to rep more times doing it the right way. Problem solving is not skill building. Problem solving is a skill. Problem solving is not skill building. Problem solving is a skill. So the first thing you have to be able to do is you've got to work. You've got to work hard. When you work hard, everything else falls into place. Don't be afraid of the work. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid to step out on a little bit of faith, right? There's nothing wrong with stepping out on a little bit of faith. There's nothing wrong with being willing to be coached. There's nothing wrong with taking accountability for your actions and being that guy. You can be that guy in any capacity if you work. Once you've worked and once you're showing out, I promise people will see you. Now, when you're putting yourself out there, people are going to know, oh, man, look at him. Oh, look at her. Look at him. Look at her. You know, it's interesting, right? Because when I think about it now, off the top of my head, the people that I know who are really super talented, who work really hard, you don't see a whole lot of stuff from them. You don't see a lot posted from them. Why? They're too busy working. They're too busy working. They probably should be seen more. If I was advising them, I would tell them to get their stuff out there more, let people know how hard you work. But they're too busy working. I have to remind myself to post stuff. I have to, it's purposeful because I'm working most of the time. And as I work, I forget about the fact that I should be posting things. I have to remind myself to do so. And when I forget to do that, then I end up in a situation where, oh man, I'm like, right? You ever get like that where you're like, I know I should be, but I don't, because you know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword almost. Like it's when you're working hard, many times you forget that some people may not see it. But then if you're out there being seen all the time, when are you working? So you have to be able to balance both. You have to be able to balance both. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Right? That's what I've been trying to do. I have to remind myself to do it. And if I have to remind myself to do it, then dang, everybody has to, right? If I have to remind myself, then everybody has to. Work is work. We can't run from the work. We cannot run from the work. And if we try to run from the work, then we get exposed. That's the truth. If we try to run from the work, then we're going to get exposed. Because at the end of the day, it's about that work. By the way, everybody, I want you to all go ahead and go out and subscribe to my cousin's YouTube channel, Coach Chang. Coach Chang's out there, doing this thing in Tampa, Florida area. He started a YouTube channel. He is heavy with the youth sports. If you don't know who he is, you should get to know who he is. He is one of the best coaches, especially at the youth level, but I don't want to sell him short by just saying only at the youth level. He is one of the best coaches in the nation. Bar none. One of the best coaches in the nation. One of the guys that I've seen mold and shape young men to go on and do great things with their lives. So if you get a chance, go to YouTube, make sure that you follow him. Just type in Coach Chang, Chang, and you will see my guy. Go follow him. If you're not following him on Instagram, go follow him on Instagram at coach.chang. Great follow. You're definitely not going to want to miss what he's going to bring to the table on that space. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have. That's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Trent's 30 tonight, 6 p.m., Daffin Park. If you're signed up, I look forward to seeing you. If you're not signed up, you still have time. If you have a young man, young lady who plays that offensive line that wants to come and get this work, reach out to me on any of the socials at Gene Clemens. I'll be more than happy to get them signed up to come. Until next time, peace.